Hey there! Today we'll look at a pen that was sent to me by Ron from penchalet.com, and this is the pretty new Delta horsepower pen. The horsepower pen. Let me just take this sleeve off, and then when the sleeve comes off you have this box, black cardboard box. The sleeve has all kinds of racing engine stuff on there, hence horsepower. When you open this cardboard box, yet another box comes out. Apparently Delta finds it important to really invest in their boxing material. And when you open that up, you get this interesting box, and all kinds of stuff flies out. What do we have here? Let's see. First of all, we have a little guarantee slip. Then we have the standard Delta thing that I've seen before, which has a lot of filling instructions. That's quite useful if you've never used a piston-filled pen, for example. And then we have an explanation of the actual horsepower series in a very red. Okay, horsepower. So, to quickly read through, it has some pictures of mechanical horses and stuff. It's hilarious. And then here it says, the collection. Writing instruments in special resin, turned by hand from solid bars, polished to a mirror-like finish, available in 2 different color resins, black or red. The metal parts, including the trimmings, are plated in precious white or black rhodium in either gloss or matte finishes. Available as a fountain pen, a roller with cap, or twist-tie ball pen. The central ring offers embossed the collection name Horsepower. The nib is available in 2 different versions. Special fusion nib in harmonic steel and 18-karat solid gold, and special harmonic steel. Both nibs are available in EFF, MB, and stub. Okay, well, the guys who brought you the fusion nib, which sort of magically increases the viscosity of ink, have now brought you a nib in harmonic steel. And this is the pen, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Well, the pen has a pretty unique shape, I would say, especially the cap is different. I'm not sure if that's supposed to symbolize the wheels of a Formula 1 car or something like that. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, let's start at the very top of the cap, the finial. As you can see, it's just shiny red. And then we have this very interesting shape. So we have these rhodium highlights, and then we have on the center band there, it says horsepower. Delta numbers its pens. This is pen number 295, even if it's not a limited edition. Here we have something that looked to me a lot like those carbon finishes that you see in some pens, but that's not really mentioned in the description of the pen. Then we have the barrel. The barrel tapers, a little ring there, and then this end thing, which doesn't do anything because it's a cartridge converter filled pen. Okay, as to the clip is pretty springy, as you can see, and also, at least on the pen that I got, has quite a lot of movement, so the tolerance is not extremely tight on this pen. Okay, we'll unscrew the cap, and you will see a nice plastic section. Here we go. Plastic threads, and this is that, I'm assuming, rhodium covered harmonic steel nib in fine. What does it say? It has an F, it has the Delta logo, and I'm pretty sure, yes, it says Delta and has some scroll work. Alright, a little bit of ink came out. Of course I put a red ink in here, but don't think I'm bleeding, because I'm not. You unscrew the barrel, and then you have the converter that actually falls out. That is the 3rd time this has happened to me. And to be honest, this may be the converter's fault. This pen didn't come with a converter, so I put in a Chinese converter, which is standard international, and for some reason it seems to fall out. Maybe if you put in a Delta converter, it will stay in. The problem, though, is that there is a bit of space at the end of the barrel, and if the pen shakes a bit, then that converter could become dislodged. Okay, so there you have it, and of course the result is ink everywhere. But as I said, maybe if you use a Delta converter, that's not an issue. Alright, Posted, the pen has a pretty decent size, I would say. It's not a small pen. It has some decent girth too, so there's definitely quite a lot to this pen, and it's very red. We cannot deny that. Okay, what do I like about the pen? What do I not like about the pen? I think for a pen at this price point, some tighter tolerances might be expected. I think this clip really moves too much for a pen at this price level. Also, if you check out the pen, you can actually see a gap under the little metal bit that keeps the clip in place. And I think for a pen, again, at this price point, you could expect that to not happen. I'm not sure how well I can show you this, but you may see the little gap under the metal part, and again, it's fairly wobbly. The converter issue annoys me, but again, it's not a delta converter, so I probably can't complain about that too much, but converters that fall out of the section is a bit of an issue. The nib is fine, and it gives quite some feedback. For a fine nib, that is somewhat to be expected. What I really wonder about is what exactly this harmonic steel adds to a regular steel nib, or if it's just a steel nib with rhodium plating. I found it not particularly spectacular. I enjoyed the Delta Fusion nib. I know there was a lot of hocus pocus and marketing stuff about that, as to it would increase the viscosity of an ink. I think it's impossible. In any case, they're pretty nice nibs, and mine writes very smoothly. This nib I'm not too sure about. Again, for the price point, I was expecting a somewhat smoother performance. Okay, so that's what I like about it. What I not like about it, I have written down some measurements. The weight is 28 grams. It is all plastic, so it's not very heavy. I mean, there's a little bit of metal there, but the body of the pen is all metal. The cap is all plastic. The cap is all plastic, apart from the clip. We have a length of 120 millimeters uncapped. Capped, it's 143 millimeters. As I said, 28 grams, not very heavy. The section diameter is about 11 millimeters at the narrowest point and 13 millimeters at the widest point. And that's pretty much all there's to it. So I think we need to see this horsepower in action. We need to see if it's as powerful as Delta claims. That's what we're going to do next. I thank Ron from the Pen Chalet for supplying me with this pen. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so writing with this Delta horsepower. Oops, I dropped the cap. This is the F nib, and the ink is Ackerman Chinatown. And I think the issue with the nib for me is that it is very hard. This is very smooth Clairefontaine paper. The nib, it's not that it's scratchy, but it's very hard, and that seems to give it a bit of, I don't know, feedback. I personally prefer a nib that gives a little bit, but as you can see, it's a bit of fast writing. Ink flow is consistent. It's by no means a bad nib. It's just that, I don't know, I don't find it as spectacular as harmonic steel would suggest. Okay, wetness. It is a fine, but it doesn't lay down the wettest of lines, but it's a good flow. Okay, line variation. You can squeeze somehow, but as I said, it's a pretty hard nib. Not a terrible nib, and definitely not a bad writing experience. I kind of like that. So if you're willing to overlook things like this tolerance, etc., I think you will get a pen that you may actually enjoy using. Okay, so Ron, thanks for sending me this. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.